Hey, welcome back to another video. I'm making a video game in Unity. I'm glad you're here. Hope you've been enjoying the videos so far. Uh, s- we in the last episode, I got some more saving done. I was able to save villager stats and all kinds of things. So those things seems to be working. There's still more things that we need to save, such as I need to create like maybe a unique ID for items for villagers so that we can save things like their soulmate, who's their soulmate, where's their house, and those kinds of things. But I thought I would do some UI uh, programming today. A lot of this is just going to be kind of, um, just get some functionality in the UI. It will probably change later. UI can be kind of challenging of where you put things, how should it look. Um, but I figured it might be better to just have some kind of UI right now versus me just clicking on the keyboard. All right, so in our canvas, we already have, we don't really have a whole lot, do we? And right now I'm not showing anything, so let me just show these things. And I'll just do like that. All right, so this is kind of our UI. I wish I could drag this to the, I'm thinking about doing something like this, but you see how it kind of, I hate how it matches with the window here, because that's kind of deceiving. Um, let's see, because there's not a whole lot we can do. That is kind of annoying. I wish I could make this maybe I can. Let me see. In our canvas mode, display one, scale with screen size, constant pixel. That's cool. Um, so you see how it kind of scales the UI. Okay, but match, expand, shrink. I wish display one here. What's display one? Free aspect. So if I change this to this, then we get the precise. There we go. I think that'll be better. All right. Right, so what happens when I play it? Okay, it'll show like this, but if I do play maxed, okay, so it shows like that. Let me click on my camera. Just want this to be black and not that blue color. Maybe I do want the blue color. I need blue sky. Let me just put it back for now. Alrighty, well let's just start making some of this UI stuff. Alright, let's insert, so a empty game object, and let's call this bottom panel. And so this will be stuff that goes on the bottom. So we can do these anchor presets. We want to be at the bottom. We don't want to stretch it or anything or mess with it. We want to kind of control that. That means this will actually center it in the middle always, no matter what the resolution is. Let's add a UI, call it panel, and we'll call it the main bottom panel, or maybe just call it, maybe I should just, here, let's undo this. Let's delete. Let's just create a panel. And really, a panel is a rect transform with a canvas renderer. That's what a panel is. This is going to be bottom panel. And we're going to not stretch it. We want to do to the bottom. Whoops, what did I just click? All right. We want to change this. And let's change the background. I did add some of my own kind of panels. Let's do the panel 1, or maybe panel 2. All right, that's not looking good. That is not looking good at all. All right, I do not want it to stretch those kinds of things. How can I fix that? Let's go to our, this is the sprite sheet I'm using that I've created here. Sprite Editor. And why does it stretch all of that? I don't want to stretch any of it. Maybe I need to do like this. Do it all the way to here. Let me apply it and see if that fixes it. No, look at it makes it even worse. It is kind of the annoying thing about stretching your sprites. Let me see my bottom panel. It's weird. Look at that. You gotta do like, you gotta do something like that. Alright, I'm gonna have to mess with this. Let me go to the Sprite Editor. So let me do like very tiny. I wish there was like a feature that allowed for like no stretching at all. Let's see if we make it as tiny as we can be. See if that changes it. Well, let's just scale it down. All right. And since we're trying to get like pixels to be perfect, I think this will be okay for now. But definitely don't like it. I'll have to figure that out later, but probably want this as close to the bottom as we can. All right, now let's insert a button. Let's create a new UI. We want to do the button text mesh pro. They used to have just a regular button without the text mesh pro. I guess that's not available anymore, which is good. We're going to change this to the one that I have. And it does a lot of funky stuff with it too. So let's go here. We'll see what will happen if I just don't want it to change. I don't want to stretch this at all. I don't want any stretching. I just want it to, I don't know. Okay. We can do with that. Now let's go here. Let's make this a little bit bigger, I guess. Actually, let's go into our button here. Let's change the size of this because it's at 24. Let's change to 16 maybe. And It doesn't look very crisp. Let me see, where's the color? Vector color is gray. Let's do black. Oh, you know what? I'm zoomed in, that's why. Let me look at it on here. Alright, let's drag this, whoops. Let's drag the button over. And we'll call this the build button. And this will, I think, have a little menu, a little pop-up menu. Let me go to the panel. Now what you can do is there is a layout group. That you can add to the bottom panel that can organize these buttons. I'm not going to use it, I don't think, for now. Let me not do it on center though. I'm going to do it from left center. And if we want to kind of look at what it all looks like, I'm going to play it. So this is what it looks like. Kind of seems pretty big, doesn't it? You know, even if we did the free aspect, that stretches to my whole monitor. That seems kind of, this all seems kind of large, so whoops, so cancel that. Let me just stop it. So let's make it a little bit smaller. Let me change the font size, and let's just call this build. Font size to 12 maybe. Yeah, and then let's make this panel a wee bit smaller. And move this up some. Let's play it. Okay, that looks better. Alright, so we got some issues with it. Clicking, when we click the button, it clicks on our screen. There's ways to fix that. We're not going to worry about that now. Let's get, but I think what we do want to take is our camera. And let me see. I wish I could really see. Just move it down a little bit. Okay, something like that. A little bit up. Alright, there we go. Okay. Now, what I could do if I wanted to with this bottom panel, we could make it stretch all the way across, and then it would fill it up the whole way. Okay, maybe not. Why didn't it stretch all the way across? That's kind of strange. Why doesn't it stretch all the way across? Do I have to find whatever? Let's do like that. Okay, so we got all the way across. So we got a little build we can click, does nothing. So now let's create another panel. Do I want to be part of this? I guess so, maybe. Let's do a UI panel. Let's call this build panel. What's going on? Why can I not click? What's going on, Unity? Cannot read parent window to suggest a parent window will not automatically close. What? Okay, do it here. Right there. Build panel. And we want this to be... We don't want to stretch. Okay. Changes to... Let's see if I got a different panel. Should we do a black? Do it like that, maybe? Which looks terrible. Okay, do like that. Why is this... Give me this error. Cannot read parent window to suggest a parent window will not automatically close. Let me move this to the top. Okay, don't know why. What's this? That's my debugger. Okay, well, let's just keep working on this. Let's go back to our sprite. Let's fix that up. Make this as tiny as possible. I don't know if this is the way you're supposed to do it, but I wish I could just... you see how it says the border? And what if I just... I don't know, apply. Alright, let's go to this and fix it. Why is it being weird? Okay, let's just do like that. Maybe I shouldn't parent this to... I don't know, why does it have this huge box around it? I don't know, sometimes the Unity system, the UI system in Unity is kind of an, I don't know, frustrating at times. If you ever worked with it. See, it looks so much smaller, oh well, we'll just leave it like that for now. Let's maybe stretch it a little bit more. It's just so weird. Why is it showing like that? Does it have to do with my width of my... Okay. Alright, let's add a button here. Now, I probably want it to be dynamic, where it fills in this automatically. Maybe, but sometimes having control of things, like in this, what is this UI toolkit? Let's go to another button here. Actually, let's just delete that. Delete. Let's copy this and paste one in here. What, is my keyboard not working? What's going on? Copy. Having all kinds of issues in this video. That's alright. Have to manage. I should almost maybe have a different button style maybe for this. But let's change this to okay, what's going on? Why is this being a pain? I can't rename it. It's not allowing me to click on things. Can I change this? What is going on? Alright, well, I might restart Unity and see what's happening. Alright, I'm back. That was just kind of strange. I can now, well, yep, I can change this. I can now type it in. So this is going to be storage. Again, we could do this like dynamically, like it knows the things, but again, I get a little bit more control this way. It is less coding I have to do, and then I know for sure which ones I'm doing. I guess it's less coding, but it's more maybe other things. But I think for now we'll just do that. We'll call this storage or storehouse. We'll call it storehouse. Right, that's what we're trying to build. Trying to build a storehouse here. Okay. And let's change this to storehouse then. Storehouse. And stretch this out because it needs to be, there we go. Maybe a little bit bigger. All right. So we got one. Let's copy that, paste it. Let's get the next one will be house. Okay, we'll call this house. And maybe, yeah, we got centered. Let me move it down. Oh, let's move this down. All right. And then let's do one more called farm. And we'll call this, type in farm. Oops. And then move that down. Okay. Just kind of eyeballing this a little bit. Whoops. Let me play. See how it looks. Alright, not too bad. So what I want is when I click the build, it'll open up. If I click on it, it's going to close it. If I click on the build, it'll close it. So, alright, let me do that. So let's get that hooked up. Let's go to our UI manager. Scripts, managers, UI manager. After it loads it, should have had this loaded already. Okay, here we go. So kind of close some of these things for now. And let's do a private void show build panel. Show the build panel. And up here we will need a Or let's just say panels for UI. And we'll say a serialized field because it doesn't need to be public. Game object build panel. Simple enough. And then down here when we show it, we just want to say build panel dot set active is true. Now I could do this you can do build panel dot active in hierarchy, and we do the opposite of it. So when we show it, we just do the opposite of whether it's active or not. Let's see if that works. After it compiles it. Okay, and so to hook this up, we go to our build button, and in the button here, we do on click, we're going to add, we're going to drag our canvas because that has the UI manager on it, right? No, it doesn't. Okay, fine. We'll drag the UI manager object, and then we get our UI manager, and we can do the this needs to be public. This is basically an event. If you did not know that. All right, there we go. And so then in our UI manager, we're going to drag the build panel into it. Right here. Push play. Let's see what it does. Click, click. That's cool. Yeah. So we got that part. It still, everything seems pretty big. I don't know. Maybe it's just this monitor is bigger than what I'm used to. We are scaling the UI, so that could be it too. But anyways, we'll just leave it for now. All right, so now we gotta get this clicking. And how do we do that? Well, we could do a simple script. So let's go to our UI, and we create a new script called build button. There we go. All right, let me click on that. We don't need any of this. We're basically going to have an int build num. We could do this in here, public void on click, and let's go to our UI manager. If I still have it open, of course not. Let's see, how are we setting the build? Here, let me get rid of all this extra nonsense. Okay. Save it. Let me go to my, I probably put it in the map manager. Go to the update. T. Click detector. Great. I don't know where I put that. Yeah, right here. I put in the click detector. So this doesn't need a build num anymore. We want that for okay, I'm just looking at what I had for the code. Clicking for adding building. We might yeah, that's fine. Maybe we do leave it here then. I have no access to it. Um, I can just do it in the map manager, I think. Let's just leave it here for now. Let's go to here. I haven't really thought too much about this, have I? Actually, where was that build button? Ugh, I just don't want to hook that up every time. I could just turn this into a real singleton. I know. Some people say singletons are bad, but I'm not one of them, so. I'm not one of them. Uh, let's see, public static. Let's just copy this stuff. You know, I always copy and paste this stuff. Is probably why I don't know how to do it offhand. I mean, it's not hard, but and then we change this to a click detector. Okay, so now we can just access that. So in my build button back here, we're going to say click detector dot instance dot. We gotta make that public. I mean, maybe this is a problem. You end up creating a lot of public variables, and maybe that's not good. You know, I could do getters and setters though. I don't know if that actually performs better or not. Not too sure. Or actually, we want the build button. We want to say that build num is equal to this build num. There we go. So that's simple enough. Let's see if we can get that hooked up. Let's just click here and let's add this. Actually, we're going to add a build button. And okay, maybe I do need that to be at least serialized field. All right, so we drag this here. We click. Oh man, come on, what's going on? A build button right here. On click. That's what we gotta do. So that and the build num will be 0. So we're going to test that out right now. I'm going to change the build to just so we can see it. So we're on the house. We're going to click the storehouse. And it did not work. Maybe the house is 0. Click storehouse. Now what's going on? Why didn't that work? Let's go to our why isn't that working? Map manager. No, not map manager. Click detector. Ugh, I do not like how I'm doing this. That's why we want to do a string instead. So let's go back to see build ID is that's what we want. Okay, let's go back to our button. This needs to be a string, and let's say build ID and change, and let me make that public. Where's my click detector? Click detector. Let's change this to public. I won't need this build num anymore, but we'll leave it there for now. So this is going to be, come on, that build ID is going to be build ID. All right, now let's go here and so I'm going to click on the storehouse. We're going to change that to storehouse. Is that what I named it? If I look in the click detector. Okay, we're naming it like this with the blueprint. So that's that. Let's test it out. So it's set to farm. Let's click storehouse. There we go. All right, so we got that set up. Let's do the same thing for these ones. Add. Add a component. Build button. Let's drag this in here. Oh, sorry, yeah. Let's go. I should probably call that house button and not just house. On click. And this will be house blueprint. And then down here, do the same thing. It's going to be farm blueprint. And add that, add this, click on here. See again, if you could do this in a script where it can automatically create these for you, but you know, and maybe down the road I'll do that. So there's the farm, there's the house. All right, so now that's working. That's pretty cool. Let's close the panel after we click one of the buttons there. So let me go back to the UI manager. We're going to make this public so that in my build button I can just say UI manager dot instance dot build panel dot set active to false. So we're going to close it. Does that seem like it should happen or not? You know, I don't know. So that's something like you have to kind of play the game and say like, okay, do I like that? So this opens up. If I click here, you know, I can build it. I gotta go back here. So it closes automatically. Don't know if that's what you would want. I want to say no. You would think that you might want that still open because you're in your building. You clicked here, you're in the building. Man, these guys got a lot of work to do. Come on, get working. One thing we can do too is have a kind of a state for our click detection so that if I click on the build, it would change the state so that you can't click on things out here. I mean, you can't like basically right now, I can just click all the time, but we might want to have another button that says like gather objects, gather. And so we can switch between the different build, the different things. Let's add that feature. Let's go to our UI, our click detector, which of course closes again. Oh no, here it is. So let's do could do something like this. Public enum, call it click state, and we'll have a gather, and we'll have a build, and then maybe we'll have an other. So then when we're clicking, let's do a public or doesn't, I don't know, well, let's just do public just in case we need outside click state. All right, so then we could have a switch here. And we'll do a click state. All right, now let's copy this, Control X, and we're going to put this outside. Okay, what happened here? I need this, I guess. Let's do a private void. Okay, I think we're going to say gather click. Let's call it that. Let's put that in. And we got probably one extra. Mouse position. Vector 2, mouse pose. All right, and in here, guess let's get rid of this. We want to take this out. Actually, let's just delete it altogether because we're not using it right now. So this will only manage, this function will only deal with the gather click. So then in here, if we're in the gather state, we're going to say gather click. All right, and we want to send it the mouse pose. Then we'll do kind of the same thing. Wait, how was I? Oh, right here. Control X. We're going to do a private void build. And we'll actually get rid of this now. Okay, so let's save that. Right here we'll do build. Okay, so now in my UI manager, when we show the build panel, we want to set our click detector.instance.click state is equal to the build. All right. Now, there's probably a better way to kind of manage this. Public void. Like we could actually have each of it has its own script instead. Right now there's not going to be a panel. We're just going to change the state to a gather. But we might have it later. Okay. So in my build button, we want to not change anything. It should do it. So now if I play the game, okay, that's still happening. And that's because by default, it's on the gather. If I go with my click and I say default, click state is equal to the other. You shouldn't work now, right? Okay, good. So we're in the other state. So now if I click the build, actually it depends on whether this is active or not. Okay, I click it. Okay, see we're in the build. All right. Now we could. I think that's fine because if you want to build like multiple things, you want to stay in this build state. If we click the storehouse, ooh, that's not good. So that's something I need to fix where I don't accidentally click things. If I go down here, I click farm, it does it. I can put in a like a boolean to where this is not open. Um, there is something that you can do, and I'll have to look into it. But those are like little bugs, like little things you have to think about. You know, you have to manage all these things. That's why it's not as easy as you think sometimes. All right, so we got that. Let's duplicate this. Slide it over. And we'll call this the gather button. All right. Now, change that name to gather. And whoops. And let's change this to the show gather. Um, I'm going to do, let's just do a private void close panels. And so I'm going to actually now what I could do is put this in a list and it loops through all those loops through a list of all the panels instead of doing it like the build panel, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. But let's just leave it like this for now. So we're going to set to false. So the first thing we're going to do, how do we want to do that? Well, I definitely want to say close panels here. If I close the panel, if I click on it, see, I always close it, always set this true. It's not really what we want. Gotta think about it, but for now we'll just do that. So let me play. So click the gather, closes it, and now I can gather. Click the build, now I can build. So maybe I don't want it to close it. That's kind of annoying. Click this. Click the berries. Alright, so that seems to be working. Let's build a farm. There they go, they're working on it. He's going to take that to they added a berry to the storage house. Dummies. Come on, guys. You can't use berries to build a storehouse. Okay. What else could we do to kind of, help us out? Good question. We could do and this will be kind of tricky, a silhouette of what you're trying to build. And then changing the color of it. So how do we do that? How do we do that? I mean, I know kind of how. Let's just save this. Yeah, let's, we could do something called, let's just drag this out for a sec. Okay, so here's our house. Let's unpack it completely. So if you've never done that before, just drag out your prefab and then you can unpack it, and now it's not going to affect, it's not part of that prefab anymore. And we're just going to call it the build build icon. I don't know. Build selector. Okay, we're going to get rid of these. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. We just want the sprite. And let's get rid of this because we don't need this anymore. So this is going to use the house. And let's change the alpha. And we could change it to green. So it would switch between green and red. Okay. All right. Let's create a script. It's always a good idea, right? And we'll call it the build selector script. Build selector. All right, so what will this need? Let's leave let's do all that. This is going to need we could give it a list of sprites, maybe. Might need to be public. We'll see. We'll see. List of sprites. Sprite renderers, maybe, or sprites. Yeah, list of sprites. Call it sprites equals new list. So what I'm thinking is all the sprites for building. Okay, so that's that. Maybe do a public void set sprite. And it's going to say a sprite int sprite ID. Okay. Yeah, that'll be fine. And then what we want to do is get component sprite renderer. And really we could do, let's do this. Let's have a private sprite renderer and we're going to get this on start or awake. And we're going to say sprite renderer is equal to get component. Let's get our sprite renderer because we're going to need that to do some stuff. And then we're going to say sprite renderer dot sprite is equal to sprites sprite ID. Oops, sprite ID. Okay, so let me save that. Now this on click, we're going to have another serialized field, int sprite ID. Okay, let's just save it for now. When we click it, so in my UI manager, we're going to have a public game object, call it the build selector. So I'm trying to do this where I only have one build selector and just changes the sprite. That's all it needs to do. Maybe. Probably not. There's some other things we're going to need to do. But because really it's going to need to check the grid and let the user know whether it can build it. For now we're just going to get to display. So when we click this, we're going to say UI manager dot instance dot build selector dot set active to true, and we want to do get component the build selector, and we're going to set the build sprite set sprite. We're going to set it to the sprite ID. Alright, let's just test this out. Let's go here. Okay, let me go to my add the build selector. Sprites. Let's add the farm. Let's add the storehouse. Oh, here's the house. Let's add the storehouse. Okay. So we got that. And then let's go to our UI manager. We need to add that here. And then in our canvas, in our storehouse, again, this is why you might want to have this do some things automatically so that you don't have to go back in and let's say you change one thing, you're going to have to go in and change all of these. Now, let's just test this out. Let's make this selector not active. Okay, so I click the build, click storehouse, and we're getting all reference. What did I forget? Okay, so let me go with my build selector. Okay, the sprite is in the child. So let me go to get component in child, in children. Let's try that again. Still no. Why, oh why? Alright, well, let's just make this serializable. And just drag it in. And come on. There. Let's see if that was the problem. Yep, and you can see it. It's right there. If I click the build, house, it's there. Can't really see it. Farm. Alright, so we need a change this sorting layer. And let's do another layer, I think. Let's add a sorting layer and we'll call it yeah, let's do it here. We'll call it the build layer. Sure. Let's go back to here. So now we should see it above. Storehouse, yep. House, yep. Farm, yep. Okay. Then let's go to the sprite. Let's make this a little bit brighter. Okay, and there we go. So now what we want to do is, let's see, when we're in our click detector and we are moving the mouse, not when we're clicking, but when we're actually moving the mouse, and we could do it here maybe, move the build selector. And what we'll do is if click state is equal to the build, if UI manager dot instance dot build selector dot active in hierarchy, so it's active. We're going to say that this dot transform dot position is equal to new vector 2 mouse x comma 0. Okay, let's save it. Let's see how that looks. Click the storehouse, and it's not doing it. Why not? No errors. Let's just get rid of this for now. Maybe that's the problem. No. Mouse X. Build selector transform position. Just make sure this is correct. Debug.log moving build selector. Save it. Are we not in the click state? Why wouldn't we be here? Let's just get rid of this. Just test this out. Okay, that does work. That's cool. So you know where you're going to build it. If I change it to the house, you know where you're going to build it. Now, if I click here, there we go. The sprite is a little bit off, isn't it? So we gotta fix that. And I think it was because my storage was off, I think, or maybe, you see they all have kind of different offsets here. I will fix that. Okay, but we can see exactly where we're, that is helpful. We can see exactly where we want it. I mean, not exactly, but you know, I know I can build it right there. Yeah, it's just odd. Why am I never setting the state? If I can build, I wouldn't be able to go here if we weren't in the build state. That makes no sense. If click state is equal to build, that doesn't make sense. When I click it, that still doesn't make sense to me. See, now it's moving. Now I have it. Click the house. Click the farm. You know what? I know why. Because I'm starting the game with this open, and I need it to be closed first. Let me go to my panel, my build panel, and rate set like that. Build, storehouse. Now we got it. All right. I am probably going to end the video here, but you can see we got a little bit of the UI going on. We got a little issue here. This does not close. So we probably want to put that in somewhere. Let's go to the UI manager. Let's say this does that. And my build selectors when it does this. Not in my build thing. I'm going to set active to true. We're not going to close the panel. Let's not close the panel so that you know you're still in the build mode. And then in here, when we close the panels, let's say build selector dot set active to false. This isn't what we want to do. Maybe we just want to set this to true. Maybe clicking on it again doesn't close it. Let's just say close panels. We could actually do if build panel dot build panel active in hierarchy. So if it's not active, and actually we could control this even better than that, so that you don't keep clicking on it. Because I could actually just, instead of checking whether it's in the hierarchy, it checks whether we're in that game state. So you can see I can't click. I click the house, it shows it. Click the farm, it shows it. So now we know where we're building things. We could even hide the mouse, like it's kind of weird with the mouse. That's something else we could do. And then maybe in the next episode, I will work on getting it to show red or green based upon whether their grid is. So that's going to be a little bit of a work. All right, well, thanks again for watching. I will see you next time.